From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
What is up? I'm Aslan Hajavandi. That is Corey Clark. This is Wake Up Warchant. It is live on YouTube. Welcome into the program, Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Go to DeLunaCoffee.com. Corey, I thought I was going to be able to make some of this delicious hot cocoa, but apparently summer is still around here in Tallahassee, so that's a bit of a bummer. I don't know how things are in the greater Atlanta area, but
warm. It's warm up here too, buddy. Really warm.
Watch out here. DeLunaCoffee.com, spearheaded by a bunch of Noles. It is their life's passion. This coffee, it's delicious. They love Florida State as well. They would love for you to support them. We would love for you to support them. So go to DeLunaCoffee.com, use that promo code WARCHANT15, and get yourself a 15% discount. Also,
look how bright I am now, Aslan, and there it goes. As quickly as I said it, now I'm back in the darkness, which is just as well with this thing on my nose still.
So before we got on air here live on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, by the way, everybody. Corey was just lamenting how, for some reason, and I've been trying to give him remote technical service, he'll look really good. Like, it'll be really good contrast, really good lighting on him, and it'll just dim on him. So you don't get the full flavor if you're listening to us on a podcast for your Thursday. We appreciate it. But again, we're live here on Wednesday evening for you. Hit that thumbs up button. We certainly appreciate it. Corey, otherwise everything's all right though, right?
Hanging in there, buddy. Hanging in there. Doing well, getting ready, getting excited for this game. Getting excited for this game coming up. We're 3 days away, 2 days if you're listening to the podcast. And I just feel it in my bones, in my loins, in my cockles, that they're going to get that first dub on Saturday. And if they don't, well, then they don't. What are you going to do?
There's always next week. There's always
that's
next
right.
week, Corey.
That's right.
I saw a thread on Warchant.com's Tribal Council where somebody was talking about after this week will be 1-4, and then someone's like, yeah, then UMass is a win, NC State could be a win most likely, Boston College is a win, and I'm like,
slow down.
Calm down, everybody. Let's get one of these things.
Well, look, if they play anywhere close to the way they played defensively against Louisville in the second half, they can legitimately probably beat anybody on their schedule. Maybe not named Florida. I think we'd say Florida right now is maybe a bigger ask than Clemson, just because Clemson's offense is struggling so much. But neither one of those we foresee maybe even a close game, much less a win. But everybody else, if they play defense like that, yeah, why not? Why not, guys? Why not?
So how about this, Corey? What do you think? Well, first off, William Green says, Corey, I had multiple skin cancer surgeries, took a year to recover. You look like you are recovering well. Let's hope it doesn't take a year, right?
Yeah, she told me, like I said, 6 months that it'll be back to normal. I won't do that to you guys. It's still red. And that's the biggest problem is it's still red, the skin around it. But yeah, feel good. Didn't hurt to take a shower. Felt good about things. I appreciate it, William.
So what about this theory that's being floated out in certain corners of the internet, Corey, about Florida State and that performance against Louisville, that second half that we felt pretty good about, at least defensively, the way they came out and executed and performed, in that apparently we found out specifically from Mike Norvell after practice Wednesday that I want to say Marcus Woodson, defensive backs coach Marcus Woodson.
I always want to say Darren Woodson.
Darren Woodson? Yeah. I got you. Go Cowboys, the star. Yeah. They're back. But Coach Woodson was not at Saturday's game because of bereavement leave. I think it was his brother that he lost. Our condolences do go out to Coach Woodson and his family. But Randy Shannon sort of stepped in and helped out with things on Saturday. Now, there's some people that think Randy Shannon might have been the guy calling the plays in the second half. I don't quite think that's the case. And nonetheless, I would assume Coach Woodson didn't leave in the middle of the game, so Randy Shannon was involved in the first half as well. But I guess when you are in this predicament, when you are 0-4 and you're looking for slivers of hope, I guess your hope, your optimism as a fan kind of goes to this world where maybe this guy, let's flip it on a switch. Maybe it's this guy doing everything. But I don't personally think that Randy Shannon did something that breathed life into this defense, but some people do. What do you think, Corey, about the news that Randy Shannon had a hand in helping out on Saturday?
Well, if he gets credit for helping out, did he not get to the stadium until halftime?
Right. Yeah.
Like he was there for the first half too, and that was inexplicably bad. So who knows? I don't know that I would want my head coach in a situation like that. Everything you've been preaching for the last year and a half to then say, all right, Randy, now that you're an on-field coach because Coach Woodson is not here, how about you give us some play calls? You know what I mean? I know, you know what I mean? Like that's not that I wouldn't want my head coach making a drastic decision like that in the middle of a game or in the middle of a practice week like that. That just seems like probably a little too much is made into that. It might just be coincidence, or it might not be. It's probably not bad to have his voice in there, but I don't think like he just took over play calling duties in the second half. That would have been, because if you're going to do that, just make him your DC. You know what I mean? Like just make him your DC and quit all the charades. So I think maybe he had some input that I don't think he's allowed to have necessarily when games are being played because he's not an on-field coach. But I don't think it was to the point where he was actually the guy dialing up the schemes and the blitzes and the third down coverages.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into some of these questions that we have on YouTube. We'll also jump back over to warchant.com's tribal council. Use the promo code warchant30 for 30 free days of access to warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source, and we'll get some of our Renegade Express questions in here. But first, our guy Mark in Naples says, wake up, let's go. Bang, with $100 to get us started, Corey. Let's go.
I like it, Mark. I like it, and I like the message. Well, not as much as the money. I was going to say I like it more than the money itself. That's not true. That's ridiculous. But I like the message too, man. Thank you very much for the for the donation, for being one of the pillars. Really thank all of you guys for still being here. You know what I mean? Like Aslan, well, you're a fan of Florida State, but say you were a fan of the the Lakers 2 years ago,
right?
When they were awful and missed the playoffs.
I check out.
You're right. I mean, it's really cool that and it says something about this fan base and about you guys in particular that you're still dialing into a show, watching a show about an 0-4 football team because that's how much you care. Mark is very passionate and very optimistic, which I agree with you, man. For the most part, I know I can come off as pessimistic sometimes. I just kind of sit back and look at the reality, and it can be bothersome. But I appreciate the optimism. I agree with you. Man.
And for the folks listening to us on the podcast, Mark says, let's go. Cuse is in for a beatdown. I'll never stop being positive. What's the alternative? To complain about this player or that coach? We have what we have. 4 quarters of solid football this Saturday. It's a good way to look at it, man. I saw something that being positive can help ward off dementia too, Corey. So maybe I need to start doing that. So I can start.
Oh, all right. That's a weird study, but that's cool. It's good news.
Really help if they won, though. Just give me a little bit. Just give me something. Give me
something to be optimistic about. You don't want to be delusional.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark. Again, Mark is a pillar here on this slab of granite. That's his name right here at the top right here. Matt AMCZ. He signed it. Not even his real name. M. Adam CZ. It's funny that I call him Matt. He's never Matt. He's always in a good mood. Somebody out here says they need some juice. Somebody says they need some juice, and they're like, "Where's our guy? Where's our guy Gator Kirk at?" I'm trying to find the post, but there he is. Alex Simpson's like, "Where's Gator Kirk? Need the juice." Say no more. Let's go right to the warchant.com Renegade Express bag. It's Gator 188. It's Gator Kirk. Wake up! That would be him if he called in. Another week for the bamboo to sprout. Corey and Aslan, what would be your spirit animal? Let's go. Beat the Cuse. Go Noles.
Probably a sloth.
Okay.
I feel like that's my speed, especially now as I've gotten older. Probably a sloth, a fast sloth, but a sloth nonetheless. And hey, man, maybe the bamboo sprouted on defense. We're still waiting for it on offense. It still hadn't come out of the ground. But maybe what happened on Saturday against Louisville was that bamboo shooting up 90 feet in a day. That would be something. That's harder to describe than the first half, really. The first half was more of what we've seen from this defense over the last 4 years, really, than that second half was. That second half came out of nowhere. It's just crazy. So hopefully it was an anomaly. Hopefully they build on that.
I'm here for the bamboo offense. I'd
like to see that too. I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of the 23 points, the 20 points, the 17 points, the 14 points. How's about putting up 40 on somebody?
Do you think they got 30 in the tank on Saturday? You think they got like 30 or more?
I do. I also think the defense is going to maybe even score a touchdown. I think the defense is either going to score a touchdown or give them great field position on a strip sack or an interception return. And then, so maybe the offense doesn't have to score all the points, but you give them the ball at the 8, they can get in that. We'll just throw up fades to McLean. That's 6. But I do think that I do see a 30-pointer in there somewhere, maybe even 35. Ooh. But that could be wishful thinking.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to go to 30s yet. But offensively, though, Jordan Travis was back out there participating, looked spry.
Did he?
Agile and nimble. Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, yesterday I was ready to pretty much like put the fork in him for the year, it seemed like. And then today he comes out there and is like full go and looks totally good.
All right.
So just whenever you think there's some sort of clarity in this quarterback picture, it's like, no, let's just throw this. Let's just mix it all up. Let's get it crazy. But
well, if he can go, I would play him. But that's just me. And I love the McKenzie Milton story. But if you just look at the numbers, who's produced the touchdowns and who hasn't, Jordan Travis has found a way. It ain't pretty all the time, granted. He's found a way to put the ball in the end zone a lot more than McKenzie Milton has.
So, like, are you saying you would start him, or you would have specialized packages?
If he can go, I'd start him, and he's just the quarterback.
Oh wow! Yeah. Done with McKenzie, huh? Done with our guy.
I mean, and again, I go back to it's not McKenzie's fault. I feel like Robin Williams and the Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault, McKenzie. It's just the way they block right now, in the players he has on the outside, it doesn't fit his skill set. If you gave him a solid offensive line with elite receivers, or at least good receivers, I think he'd be pretty darn good. But they don't have that. And so it doesn't really fit his skill set. They don't have a great tight end, even though they have 11 on the roster. So they don't have guys that can really match up his skill set as much as Jordan Travis could maybe run around until Pokey gets free. But look, Jordan hadn't shown any real running ability this year either. So I say that, saying I don't even know if it's the skill set. Just for whatever reason, Jordan Travis has produced, 6 touchdown drives this year in, 15 series. And McKenzie Milton's produced 4 and 20. So just if it's just blind luck, maybe Jordan Travis is just luckier. Maybe the guys make plays for him for whatever reason. They dial up better plays. He's just been more productive than McKenzie Milton has.
It was good to see Jashawn. Is it Jashawn or Jashawn? Jashawn. We call him Jashawn, but it's Jashawn and Treshawn. Or Trayshawn, rather. I got that all wrong.
So it's Jashawn and Trayshawn?
Yeah. Okay. That's our bad. But it was good to see him bust off a long run. And I want to almost like sarcastically subtweet you or tag you. But like, hey, look at that. They can still bust off big runs even with a non-threat at the quarterback spot. But hopefully just something takes hold, sprouts, takes root with the offense. In terms of the quarterback play, it does need to get better. And I agree. Yeah, I mean, if things were more ideal for McKenzie, he's probably your better option, but you might need somebody who can make something out of nothing. And the offensive lineman, it continues to be challenged with injuries. So that hasn't been, Maurice.
They didn't have a lot of great ones anyway. And then the ones they felt the best about, probably if you asked them in July, have not been guys they've been able to count on because of injuries so far this season.
Yeah, let me get banged up. So let's keep this thing rolling. Zach R says, whenever you get to QB talk, is there any chance for Geno English? Geno, my guy, stepped up in the pocket today and threw a strike against the scout team he's on the scout team against the scholarship defense. So showed a little bit of fight, but no, man, he's your 5th quarterback. So it doesn't happen.
Now look, if he was
senior day a few years ago,
if he was playing great, you would hope. I mean, didn't Baker Mayfield start out as a walk-on or somebody like that? Mahomes didn't, maybe, but one of those guys at Texas Tech started out as a walk-on. And I would love to know. I mean, I haven't read enough about Baker Mayfield's story, and I'm certainly not comparing Geno English to Baker Mayfield. But he comes as a walk-on, so he's probably 4th or 5th string. What did they see? What did Mike Leach see to be like, wait, this is the guy that should be? I know he's not on scholarship, but look at what he's doing. Like, that's not normal. That's an incredible throw. And like, okay, that's not a fluke because he's done it 9 times today. I wonder what that process was as a head coach, to convince yourself, man, I think the walk-on's our best option, and we need to ride with him. Like, that's a big leap to make. That's pretty fascinating that a quarterback of that caliber started as a walk-on, and how that ended up playing its way into being the number 1, number 2 pick in the draft, or whatever Mayfield was.
I think it might have been Cliff Kingsbury. I think Leach might have been in Pullman by then.
Oh, right. Probably. Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. But still, like that's pretty. You have to have a lot of confidence in who you are as a coach too, to be like, I know I might take some heat for this, but the walk-on's the best guy. And look, it's happened. It happened at Florida State with the running back situation this year. Trayshawn Ward's a former walk-on.
Yeah. Rob's coming in here with the.
Here we go. Some real stats.
I just don't think it's going to work out. But to his point, Matt Rhule was 2-10, then 6-6, and then year 3 with 10 wins, which I'm cool with that, man. I mean, I know last year was year 0, but if they win 10 wins next year, I'm back in. I'm all in on it. But I don't think it's happening.
So what he said is Matt Rhule was at Temple, for the people listening on the podcast, 2-10 his first year with the loss to Fordham, the FCS school, then 6-6, and then a 10-win season the year after that. And then at Baylor, 1-11 with a loss to FCS Liberty, 6-6, and then a breakout year, 3 10-win season. Man, it does. So it wasn't overnight. But there was more win-loss wise. And
it was Baylor. Come on, man. We cannot compare anything to what Baylor was.
Buddy, I just told you, though, last year was a 1-8, 0-9 football team. And if they'd have played their real schedule, that's a 1-11 football team.
But the environment, though, man, like walking into what Willie left behind, what he walked into what Jimbo left behind versus what Matt Rhule walked into Waco with what Art Browse left behind, man.
Sure. No, I got it. But he didn't do it overnight. So it took him 3 years to get to a 10-win season. So if you want to count Norvell's first year as the first year,
but he bumped up, man. Like he went 3-6. We're going 3-2. Wrong way. Right.
Again, I got you. You have to look at it with some nuance, like I was trying to do yesterday with the whole.
All right, so
their efficiency's better and all that.
They should have been 0-9 last year, but they weren't. Man, they won 3 games. So I mean, are we not going to give? Maybe Norvell is cool with that. Maybe we can call Coach up right now. Like, hey, Coach, can we take away the 3 wins last year instead of?
He'd feel a lot better. He'd feel a lot better. They'd be able to pop some champagne. This first win of his tenure.
Justin Weaver says, hire Randy Shannon as defensive coordinator. He was taking notes in the first half. Then those notes in the second half helped this defense shut out Louisville. Randy deserves the credit. Okay.
Sure, man. I mean, if that's how it happened, then Mike Norvell would be dumb not to make him a bigger part of the defensive staff and moving forward. We'll see.
All right. Eric Angel's here, everybody. Thank goodness. Been worried about you, Eric.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Cincinnati, Ohio in the house. Get some Skyline chili in your life there, Eric. Hit the thumbs up button, everybody. If you don't want to throw $30 at us, we would appreciate that as well. What's up, Aslan and Corey? Congratulations, Corey, on being cancer-free.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
I believe our Noles are winning their first on Saturday versus Syracuse. Defense plays well from start to finish, and the offense makes plays and scores touchdowns.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do. Let's hope. Hey, from your lips to God's ears, there, Eric Angel. Thank you again for the donation. That's very, very nice. Eric shows up at all of them.
Yeah.
Headlines. I think Jeff Cameron's show, Sunday Smash. We're like CBS right now. We have so much programming, so much original programming. It's every night. But yeah, man, thank you very much. And that would be awesome if the defense played anything close to that second half and the offense could go and score some touchdowns.
And Philip says we win Saturday by 4 touchdowns. We've started clicking. Ooh.
Okay. Well,
come on, Philip. Philip, man, just take the dub. Just take the dub on to whoever. What do we got? North Carolina next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bye week. So yeah, beat Syracuse by 4 touchdowns, beat Carolina by 10 to 12 points. And then you're feeling okay going into that bye week.
There we go. Let's see here. Get down or lay down, carrying on the bamboo offense. What do you think about the bamboo backfield? Incorporate the backs without a Sean in their name. They're flexible, and before you realize it, they've gone 90 yards. Not bad. Not bad.
But he wants to incorporate backs without a Sean in their name. So who is that?
Instead of doing, because Sean gone, you're eliminating.
Oh, I see. I got you. By
saying bamboo backfield, you can include Jordan Travis. You can include
Toafili,
and then boom.
DJ. Okay, all right. I mean, just find a way to score. We'll name it whatever Kitty wants to name it if he can start putting up 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. Right now, it's just ick. It's just gross. But hopefully they'll get. And that's the thing. They do move the ball. It's not incompetent. They don't get overwhelmed. They do move the ball against these teams. They're just terrible on third down, and they have too many negative plays, and it's the stuff that they're not good enough to overcome. But, they're not awful from 25 to 25. Inside the 25 and on third down, they're not very good at all. And they need to get better at that. Clearly.
I mean, when you are where they are, you'll take what you can get. But I'd like a drive of, like 4 completions back to back of 15 plus yards.
It's kind of what they did the last drive.
Run. They just bust off like a 60-yard run. That's what they do. I mean, and Kenny went back and talked about we cannot move the ball consistently. We're explosive. Like if we're good, it's because we're being explosive.
Well, and what he said was they're explosive. Like they'll have 2 big, huge plays, but that's it. He wants more like he'd rather have 7 20-yard plays than 2 50-yard plays because those are better for the overall flow of the game. But that last drive that Milton had before the half, that was bang, 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 long passes. Yeah. And that throw to Parchment was great. It's just that's not happening a lot.
Old Cod Willie, do we score within our first 3 drives of the game?
Ooh. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're really trying to figure out what they're doing with these slow starts. Didn't seem like, I think Ira wrote about like Florida State's always comes out onto the field pretty late for their pregame warm-up stuff. And Dillingham even mentioned that in his unsolicited mentioned that in one of his answers to Ira, like maybe we should come out earlier, which number one, it's cool that Dillingham's reading Warchant. Keep that up, buddy.
No, I thought he said no. I thought he's like, people think, we should.
Oh, no, but he referenced it. He referenced that had been written. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. But so it's at least we know he's reading Warchant. So that's good. Maybe that's why he hasn't done the Wildcats since Jacksonville State. It's because of Warchant.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this show. Derek Neal, what does Dillingham do once Syracuse starts the game with a defense he's never seen on film before? Ooh.
Probably tell the punter to get ready. Tell Mastromano to warm up either leg because it ain't happening. Look, Derek, that's not – he didn't do that this week, thankfully, but that wasn't a good look. 2 of the first 3 weeks for him to be saying some of the stuff he said. I think he's being honest. I also think he was kind of covering for his wide receivers a little bit by saying we had some man beaters and we just couldn't hit them for whatever reason. The thinking there is his receivers just aren't good enough to get open against man coverage.
T. Giddings here, Thomas Giddings, who, by the way, helped furnish these T-shirts that Corey and I both have. Shout out FSU, your ice hockey club. I'm a hockey guy. I like it. So thank you. Thank you for the tip there, Thomas 5 Bones. Corey, you said you weren't even looking for crawling milestones. Are you looking for pregnancy milestones like lungs at week 37? Go Noles.
Yeah, anything like that. Absolutely. And, Brady, I think, was born in week 37. And I have a buddy, one of my very good friends, their son was born 4 months premature. Jeez. Like at 20 weeks or 20 weeks. And like they were the size of his son was like the size of his hand, less than that when he came out. Oh, no. Modern medicine. He's I think he's 11 now. He's 10. He's perfectly fine. He runs around. He's really bright, gets straight A's. That's good. It's modern medicine. I know that's not what you guys, watch this show for, but just a shout out to little GX for being who he is. But yes, any signs of growth would be what we'd want to see. That's all we want to see, growth.
Speaking of growth, Ryan P. Duffy, where are the amazing special teams we were promised we would see under Norvell?
Absolutely, Ryan. And I talked about that a lot last year, so it's very fair to bring up. He said that was how he wanted his team to be known. Like that was going to be the identity of his team is great special teams because of what that says about the program, about the buy-in. And they've been, I think, in the FIMRAL ratings or one of these adjusted ratings I've looked at, they're 87th in the country overall in special teams, which ain't what Memphis was when he left. They were like number 2 in the country, only behind Penn State, who was under his previous special teams coordinator. And to be completely transparent, we asked Papuchis about, he's the special teams coordinator, about Keyshawn Helton being up to like 37 yards from line of scrimmage on that ball that went over his head. That flipped the game, maybe. It certainly flipped field position, and there was no way Florida State was going to go 96 yards. No, was I right? They're 96th? Well, that was before last week. They're 0. Oh, no, I think they don't include FCS games, maybe, which is good news for Florida State. But so Papuchis was like, well, he had punted a couple short earlier in the game, and that's why that's not on Keyshawn, that's on us. We told him to scoot up. Well, no, we didn't. We went back and looked at the punts the kid had. Now, maybe they bounced away from Keyshawn, but I don't remember that. I think he fair caught him or got hit as he caught him. One was like a 44-yarder, and one was a 48-yarder, a 50-yarder. So it makes no sense that Keyshawn Helton was that close to the line of scrimmage. He was 10 yards closer than he needed to be, and it bothers me. Again, I'm positive. I'm Mr. Positive. But it bothers me that Ira and I noticed that from the press box. Like, hey, why is Keyshawn up so much? Does he think this kid can't punt at all? It just makes no sense. It's so much easier to go in on a ball than go back on a ball, and it cost Florida State 30 yards. And somebody in the box should say, hey, man, have Keyshawn back up 5 yards or 10 yards. That's crazy. He's too close. And the kid hit a ball that was probably, I don't know, a 50-yard punt. Nothing crazy. It wasn't a Ron Start punt. It was a 50-yard punt in the air, and it ends up bouncing another 23 yards. And this team is not good enough to lose 23 yards in field position because of I'll say bad coaching. Whether it was Keyshawn that did it on his own or not, somebody needs to tell him to back up, and nobody did. And to that overall point, the special teams has not been good. Nothing's been blocked up well on kick returns. The coverage unit's been fine. The kicker misses too much, and the punt return team has done jack squat.
Well said. A good summary there. Let's go to Marlon in Miami. So Coach Norvell can't keep this class. What then? Are we doomed to having another losing season in 2022 because we can't pay for another coach? What happened to the economy of the school, the program, by having a good to great program?
Yeah. That's a book about the Seminole boosters and maybe some missteps that were made Jimbo's final few years at Florida State. Really, they just did not take advantage of the run they had in any real way, shape, or form. The 12-14 run when they went 46-3 or something ridiculous. They did not take advantage of that run at all, and you're kind of here where you are now. Florida State has never been flush with cash, though. It's just not. It's not one of those programs. It never has been. It's still a relatively young school. It doesn't maybe have the big money booster membership of the schools that surround it, the good football schools that surround it in the South. So yeah, as far as the recruiting class, I don't know that the recruiting class is going to pay huge dividends in 2022. You know what I mean? Like some of those guys will play, but it's not going to be a program changer overnight. But by 2023, it should be. And if he can't keep that class, then yeah, man, there's real issues and real questions, because that class is what gives you hope right now. The fact that I do think they're a better team, even despite the record, gives you a tiny bit of hope, but they're not good enough, not even close to good enough to giving you hope. That class can give you hope if it stays together. And if it doesn't, yeah, I think, by going into next season, the seat will be very, very hot.
Marlon, the answer to our economic woes is crypto.
Right.
Check out the Kraken app, everybody. If you've ever been interested in investing in cryptocurrencies, but you're not sure where to get started, check out the Kraken app. With Kraken, you can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, maybe Doge. You can do it every single waking minute of the day right on the go on your mobile device. And cool thing, too, again, you don't need a whole bunch of money to get started. $10 to get you started on the Kraken app and dabbling into some day trading with cryptocurrencies. So find out for yourself why Kraken has been rated one of the highest places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. Go to kraken.com/warchant or search for Kraken, Kraken, in your app store.
Can you pay recruits in crypto?
Yeah.
You don't even need a bag man anymore. You need an app man. You just need to get them on Kraken. Get them I assume you can transfer your cryptocurrency to somebody else's portfolio. So just get Travis Hunter and the boys on Kraken and do what you got to do.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Let's see.
Trying to win games here, folks.
Marcus Wright, have you guys seen James Blackman this season? He looks much better than any quarterback we currently have on the roster. I have not seen him play, But I don't think Arkansas State's doing all that well. He's put up some good numbers, but they're not winning football games. But
you couldn't. I mean, look, that was just broken. It was broken. I'm very excited that he is the starting quarterback there. Truly, he seemed like a really good teammate. He cared too much, in my opinion, but he really cared. It just was broken here at Florida State. He didn't have any confidence. They didn't have any confidence in him, and he needed one of those things where he needed a fresh start. It's awesome that he's playing well, but yeah, I don't know that the record's any different. I don't know. Maybe he can find a way to beat Jacksonville State, but I don't know that the record's any different. They didn't even play him against Jacksonville State last year. That's how through they were with him. So I don't know.
I mean,
but it's awesome. It's cool that he's doing relatively well.
Absolutely. Corey Durden had 2 sacks against Clemson in the win for NC State. Good to see him doing well. So
Trayshawn Harrison caught a touchdown against USC.
He did. First time Oregon State went into LA and beat USC for the first time in like 60 years. So, no, hey man, once a Nole, always a Nole. You guys say it when these kids sign up. We got to follow through with it. Shout out William McMillan, 5 bones. We do appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was going to say something about James, and I forgot what I was going to say, so I'll just keep moving on then. Get down or lay down. Thank you, man. Look at that.
Wow.
$20 says, this show specifically makes me feel more heard, recognized, and appreciated than any other program. Sincerely. Thank you.
You guys got it. Hey, we appreciate all you guys. Get down or lay down. We appreciate you a little more than others, but we appreciate all you guys. You guys are the best for sticking with us. And I was thinking about it, like our numbers on YouTube, and I think our podcast numbers too, are pretty darn good. And I was just thinking about it when I was driving back over here from dropping Brady off. Like, man, what if we got to cover a team that was 4-0? What would this look like? Would there be 6,000 people in this chat right now? Like, wouldn't it be cool to see, like, just what the excitement level would be for a good team? But it's really cool that you guys you stick with us even through this malaise that we're all in right now, because it says a lot about you guys that you still care this much, and that's why. One of the reasons why Florida State will never go completely away. They'll always be one good coach away from getting back in the mix. And maybe it's this guy, we don't know, but because of the fan base and the passionate fans.
Yeah. Thanks.
So thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, well said. Well, very well said, Corey. Sincerely, I do mean that. Rob Rathbun's here, everybody. Rob just
our dog
dropping doll hairs, just $50.
Dollar.
Let's go, Rob. Just wants to say always a Nole. That's all he wants to say. We got it, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Let's see what else we got.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much, man.
Dave in Kentucky, in Bardstown specifically, drops $5 in the jar. Let's bamboozle the Syracuse defense.
Amen, Dave.
I think I literally, if they beat Syracuse, I'm going to buy. I need greenery for my home to like make it feel more like I don't know. They say you should have like green plants and stuff in your house. I don't know, like, do I go to Esposito's? Do I go to Tallahassee Nurseries? I'm going to buy a bamboo plant, I think. I'll literally buy a bamboo plant. They win.
I wonder if they're expensive. It seems pretty exotic for Tallahassee. I wonder if it costs a lot to bring it over. Hey, I don't know anything about.
Dave's got 5 on it. I'm good.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You're closer than you were with that $5. So yeah, contribute to Aslan's bamboo fund.
Yeah. People talking about Syracuse. They got a great back, and Sean Tucker. They're running back. This guy, he might be leading the conference in rushing. He was like a 3-star defensive back. 2020.
Oh, really?
Now he's running back, and he's like almost to 1,000 yards, and so he's giving us a scouting report. I think we focus too much on him. They still have Taj Harris as a decent wide receiver. Cuse should not be taken lightly.
Hey, John Fletcher, trust this, man. We don't take anybody lightly. Nobody. I'm not taking UMass lightly. Seriously, like, you can't take anybody lightly. I think Florida State can win and should win, but I'm past the point. I'm 2 years past the point of chalking up dubs. If you'd have listened to me talk, especially on Seminole headlines before the Jacksonville State game, I didn't think they were going to lose the game, but I was genuinely interested, concerned about how they'd come back after that game against Notre Dame, if they'd be able to play to that level. And of course they didn't, not even close, and they haven't found it since. So we hope we hope they play well, but nobody is expecting, at least I guess I should speak for the two of us, right, Aslan?
Yes.
We're not expecting like a 4-touchdown win. You know what I mean? This team, you got to just find any way to win. 2 years from now, you can start predicting 45-10 type wins if they find any momentum. But right now, no, nobody's taking Syracuse lightly. How could you? You wonder if Syracuse is taking Florida State lightly.
Yeah, I mean, they beat a decent Liberty team. I mean, Liberty's solid. I mean, they beat them. They lost 17-7 against Rutgers. Their defense is pretty legitimate. I think I haven't watched too much yet. I mean, that's going to be my charge on Thursday. So for the Friday podcast, I'll have some thoughts on how they look like. But yeah, man, to Corey's point, they should win. But I'm not. Again,
I mean, they're favored.
I haven't bought the bamboo plant yet. I'm waiting first, and then I'll buy the bamboo plant. I'm not going to go buy.
They got to get you a dub. They got to get you a dub before you buy a bamboo plant.
Alan Williams over under 30 carries between Jashawn Corbin and Trayshawn Ward. I really want to see these guys win so they can break the rock in the locker room. Yeah, who does break the rock? They win. Who's going to be the guy who's going to be manning the sledgehammer? One of the running backs.
Randy Shannon. Do they have a rock for each team?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
So somebody on headlines asked, like, how much money has Florida State saved already this year in rocks? You know what I mean? Or Ira was like, I bet there's a Jacksonville State fan that would pay for that rock with the team's logo on it because you didn't get to break it. So you could get some money back that way. But yes, that would be cool. I think that would be a pretty cool tradition if they actually got to ever do it. So if they win, whoever's like the MVP gets the mallet or the hammer, I guess, or whatever they use, and smashes the rock of the team they just beat, which is a nicer way, I guess, than planting a flag in the middle of their field because you're doing it in your locker room, not out in the stadium.
By the way, Andre wants to talk about how Randy Shannon had defensive backs playing fast and physical. We talked a little about it earlier in the show, Andre, but
if that was the Shannon effect, and again, the first half happened too. Woodson didn't leave at halftime for his bereavement. He wasn't there at all. So if Randy Shannon was to blame to be praised for the second half, he definitely needs to be. You have to wonder what happened in the first half. But I will say this: that second half looked unlike any way they've ever played, at least in the last. I mean, literally since before Harlan Barnett. Yeah. I mean, they haven't looked like that. They haven't played that physical in years. So if that was Randy Shannon's doing, truly, yeah, man, it's time to figure out how to make him more of a part of the defensive game plan, the defensive staff, because that was unreal. That was incredible. It might have been a coincidence. It might not have been. And if it wasn't, they need to figure out a way to make that happen every week, because that was the most fun I've had watching a Florida State defense probably since that Wake Forest game in 2013. I mean, that was a fun game, but you felt actually bad for Wake Forest. I think the most fun I've had watching Florida State's defense since I've been doing this job was the Northern Illinois game in the Orange Bowl. Okay. All the yappy from Jordan Lynch and their coach and all the administrators and all the things that happened that week. And then they just looked, they could have played 10 quarters and not scored a bunch of any real points against Florida State. That was the most fun I had, is seeing Jordan Lynch, Heisman finalist Jordan Lynch, not do anything.
Michael Jennings, we can't give away secrets at practice. When are we going to see reverse with Ren or Helton? I don't know.
Hey, I'm looking forward, though. I wasn't there because I'm in Atlanta, but Ira did say, and I don't think this is a secret, this isn't anything they would want us to give away, that Keyshawn Helton had a great practice on Wednesday, made 3 or 4 really good catches in big plays. Want to see if maybe that gets him a little bit more involved in the offense so he can do more than just stand back and not do well on punt returns. I feel like that guy could be something. You got to figure out a way to use him.
Yeah, absolutely. They need all the help they can get at the wide receiver spot. Rob Krause says here, and I agree. I co-signed this, Rob. I didn't co-sign your Matt Rhule thing, but we can agree to disagree. It's cool. Quick fix for special teams. Fair catch every kickoff. Start the 25-yard line. No need to ever start a drive as a struggling offense behind your own 20. I'm at that point, man. I really am. I don't think they have anybody as a natural kick returner. I mean, they just don't. I mean, these guys did it. They're high school, I think, probably, and never. It was probably, hey, man, just catch the ball. Just so we don't have it, so we don't get worse field position on a bounce and roll. They don't have anybody that's naturally gifted to do this stuff. Corey Wren has been banged up throughout camp and even this early part of the season. I'm all with taking it to 25, man. I really am. Unless it's like if it's 30 seconds left in the half and they're kicking off, then yeah, go ahead and do it.
Because you trust this offense to go 75 yards?
I mean, I'd rather them go. I trust them more go 75 than I do
82. Yeah, I mean that's just such a small difference, and I would agree if it was like Willie's first year where they could not stop blocking in the back, because there is a huge difference between starting at the 25 and starting at the 6, which they kept doing with all those blocks in the back at the 12-yard line. But they are still starting at like the 21 or the 19 or the 23, which to me is worth the risk. As long as you're not committing penalties, it's worth the risk of maybe busting one to midfield. You know what I mean? You haven't done it yet. I think Corey Wren had one maybe out to the 40. You haven't done it yet. But if you're starting the average starting field position is the 22, I think it's worth the risk to see if you can bust one, especially if it's something you pride yourself on. It'd be cool if they could actually block it up, which apparently they can't.
Well, how about just if it goes in the end zone, take it. Like I'm saying if it lands on the 2 or the 3, by all means go. But they're returning kicks that are 2-3 yards deep in the end zone.
The one that I hated was the one where he caught it on one side of the field and tried to run all the way across the other side of the field, which is where the return was set up. And I think he got knocked down at the 14. You can't do that, man. You've got to be smart enough to know, look, we have a return right, to be as elementary as I can. We have a return right. Ja'Kai, if he kicks it to you in the left corner, anywhere near the left, just fair catch it. You're not going to be able to get all the way across the field. They should know that. That cost them a first down. That cost them 11 yards in field position. But if they kick a kind of a low line drive, even if you catch it in the end zone, but it's kind of a liner, come out and see what happens, man, as long as you don't block in the back. But, it hasn't mattered, really.
Dave is back. Deal with that. Says that he had a marital conflict prevent defense analogy, but then we started loving prevent defense after the JSU game. Charlie Strong for defensive coordinator, ?
I mean, look, man, there'll be some names on a list, we think, starting in November, unless what we saw on Saturday is the truth, the second half, and then Adam Fuller is going to win the Frank Broyles Award. So, if that's what Adam Fuller's done, if the bamboo is sprouted for his side, then, he'll be here. But I think we all think that, I don't know. We'll see who the DC is. I don't know. Get Jeremy Pruitt back. What's he doing?
Tom Ortner, man, you put a lot of thought into asking a question, but I think there might be a typo or two in there, and it seems nonsensical to me, so I'm not going to pop it up. But if you want to give it another go, I'll see if I can find it and pop you up on the screen here. In the meantime, Redbeard's got a question for you, Corey. Corey, why do you think we are so bad at our opening scripted drive this year? Because we seem to be so good at them last year.
Yeah, right. Like that was the one thing they were good last year was the opening script. I don't know. I mean, I wish I did. I don't even have a theory. Well, it's not like they've changed the way they're practiced.
Well, Notre Dame game, their wires were all tangled up because of what Marcus Freeman was doing. They weren't expecting it. Jacksonville State, Keyshawn dropped the touchdown. Dropped the touchdown.
Yeah, Jashawn Corbin, that's a fumble. That's a nice run that you're probably going to get a first down on that run or close to it. Yeah.
So,
and then what was the Louisville? Oh, and then look, man, they wanted to give guys a chance to make a play in space, and Malik McClain and Pokey Wilson just did not do it. They couldn't make anybody miss. They fell down by the first tackler from the first tackler that was near them. But yes, I don't know. I don't know why that is. Because it's not like they've changed the way they've practiced. They still script them out. I think they script out 9 is what Dillingham said. They script out the first 9 plays, thinking it'll be that one drive. So I don't know, but it's been bad. It's been really bad. I don't even know. What do they have? Maybe one first down on an opening drive this season so far? They were scoring almost every opening drive last year.
Yeah. I failed everybody, by the way, Greg. I didn't ask about the tomahawks on the helmets nor Emmett Rice's status. We actually were talking about pretty relevant stuff. So maybe Monday's I'll bring it up.
What's the tomahawks on the helmets?
They're not on there. There are no tomahawks on helmets.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's you have to win to get tomahawks. I don't know if Willie started doing that. Maybe some people float out that maybe the tribe no longer, they're telling, hey, calm down on that, the use of that or the symbolism of it. I don't know. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it by the end of the month of October. I assure you that. So, you people care, I know. I'll figure it out.
Well, that's it. That'd be like, in a way, I know it's a tomahawk and not a Buckeye, but if Ohio State just stopped having Buckeyes on their helmets, people will be like, well, what's going on? We're in game 4. So I think that's a relevant question. I didn't realize that because I watch it from the press box and my eyes are terrible and I'm in binoculars. I don't really focus on the back of the helmets, but I didn't know they weren't putting tomahawks on there. It might just be, hey, if y'all win a game, we'll change your helmets. But until y'all win a game, we're not doing anything.
Yeah. That was the Pitt game, by the way, I think, Dave, in Bardstown, Kentucky. So about Blackman coming in for one play and threw a pick. It was the Pitt game, I think. So.
Oh, was it? It's hard. Yeah. They all run together.
Yeah. William Green asked, Corey, I heard from a huge Georgia fan that 4 of our committed recruits are going to the Florida-Georgia game. Have you heard that?
I have not, but if I was them, I'd do it. What a fun time that would be. That's a weird is that who? I guess that would be for Florida? Like who's you know what I mean? Like
there's an offensive lineman that's going to he's set up 2 official visits to Georgia and Florida.
But those aren't official visits. That's in another city that neither one of them are located in.
Yeah, yeah. But that kid Aluba is supposedly scheduled 2 official visits to Florida and Georgia later. I think he might be going to Georgia this weekend because you guys got Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be there for that. And that'll probably be a pretty good environment. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be They probably they can't do officials. I wouldn't think in Jacksonville, but they probably do encourage them to come check it out though if they can, like on an unofficial.
I wouldn't have even thought that would be a big game for recruits unless you're in the area.
Yeah, just come out, feel the energy. Ooh, speaking of feeling the energy, let's go here, man. Well, first off, Kevin Johnson, I just got here and Corey has a lightsaber.
Hey, man, it's a cool mic, right? And it covers up my nose. You can't see my nose anymore if I talk like this.
Yeah, he uses that all the time, everybody. You just don't see it because I've bullied him to using it on camera now when he's doing the live.
I used to have it, between my knees. Oh, sorry. There you go. Sorry. Ray's here.
Right there. That man's name is on this pillar in my house. His name is on the pillar in my house. And that
dollar bills, y'all.
Ray P. Big Ray.
100 coming in strong. Aslan, Corey, you're my favorite out of the War Chant crew. Thank you, man. We may be 0-4, but you guys are undefeated. Now, I'm not a champion of life. I'm not. I wish I was. Hashtag go Noles. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much, Ray. And you're right. We you didn't say we're the best. That just we're your personal preference, but you're a very smart man, obviously. So we do appreciate it, man, very much. Thank you. Hope to see you again sometime, man. Hope you come back to Tallahassee and maybe Florida State will win a game for you.
Thank you, Ray. This is funny only because it's true. Eric Angel asked, Aslan, get a bottle of champagne if we win on Saturday versus Syracuse. In our group chat, Corey, you had an idea, right?
I did. I thought that we should spray ourselves for the War Chant rap after the game that Ira and I do, which is always pretty melancholy, and it's dark and damp, and it's in the shadows like The Exorcist. It would be cool if we just doused ourselves with champagne, like we were the winning locker room of the Super Bowl or of a World Series or something. Like really, sprayed it in each other's faces, all over ourselves. I took my shirt off. He had goggles on. So we're gonna try to figure out some way to do that without poking too much fun at the current state of the program. But yes, I'm gonna be drinking something on camera. If it's not champagne, it's gonna be beer. But I'm not gonna just sit there all stone-faced and act like, oh, it's just another Saturday. Who cares? They won. No, I'm gonna be excited and I'm gonna be drinking something. I'll shotgun a beer. I'll do something. I'll slap Ira in the face. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it memorable because we need to have a fun War Chant rap at the end of one of these games.
The Bamboo offense is taking hold. Get down or lay down says, let's celebrate wins by playing Panda by Designer. Yes, we'll do that. Ralph says, I guess Ralph said they got plenty of bamboo over in Hawaii. It's all over the place. Just please, Ralph, send it over if it passes customs or whatever. I don't know how it works coming from the into the lower 48. I
wonder if you could get a panda. If you're rich enough, you can get a panda.
Yeah,
right?
But I know like koalas are all cute and cuddly, but like koalas are crazy. Like they got like really sharp talons and claws.
Oh yeah, I think they're mean.
Yeah, I think pandas are bears, man. They got to have some aggression and alphaness in them to, I don't know. Like
Well, that's why you train them from the time they're a baby.
All right.
And you declaw them and you take all their teeth out. PETA probably doesn't want to hear that.
El Profitoral Zuck. I don't even know. Will we finally see Chubba Purdy? Probably not. I don't think so.
Well, now that Aslan's telling us that Jordan Travis looked pretty good, was moving around on Wednesday because he was at practice. That lessens my belief that maybe he would have seen some action this week. I do think he'll see some action this year. It would make no sense not to, just to see what you got. But yes, for this game, if Jordan can move around, you want to win this game, man. Like, and it's certainly not a guarantee if you play those two guys, you're going to win. We've seen these 4 games. But I don't know that you want to give Chubba this game because although Milton and Travis haven't proven to be able to win games, I wouldn't necessarily say they lose games with like pick sixes and terrible turnovers. Like Milton had the turnovers against Wake, but that game was already out of reach. I think you want a game manager in this game, which is, it's where we are, right? You don't want Chubba, a guy getting his first career action in a game you can actually win. And then you lose because he makes a couple of awful, dreadful first-time mistakes. And you're like, well, we blew that. If Milton plays, we probably win by a couple scores, but Chubba had that terrible pick six. And so I think Chubba will play later this year. But this, look, man, they need all the wins they can get. And this is a real live opportunity to get a W. And you can't screw around with it like you did Jacksonville State, in my opinion. So I don't foresee Chubba playing a lot unless the other two just aren't healthy enough.
Joe Parker, what happened to the speedster from near New Orleans? No grades. No, he's here. Corey Wren's here. He's just been banged up, wearing green jersey and stuff. So
was he not talking about? He might have been talking about Destin Hill.
Yeah, maybe him. Yeah, with him. We don't know. It wasn't grades. Personal reasons. Maybe
they still expect him to come. We'll see. We'll see. But when they talked about him, they still expected him to come next year. But we'll see how that goes after this season.
Sky Ninja, thanks, man. $5. What do you guys think about DJ Williams? I think he's good. I think they have other options in front of them that are a little bit better. It goes to the whole fact that they haven't been able to consistently string drives out. So It's how do you kind of maintain that rotation? It's a weird sort of thing. He's got potential to be a contributor, but I don't know if he's a difference maker. At least we haven't seen in the games. I really haven't seen him practice, but he's had opportunities and he's flashed. But again, everybody over the course of watching them for 2.5 months will flash 1 or 2 days in practice. But running back, they're pretty set there with those two guys.
It's hard to see him getting a ton of work unless one of them gets banged up. But I thought he looked good enough in his couple of plays he had against Louisville. But yeah, he's third or fourth string right now. And Aslan's right. Like if you could put together 16 play drives, well, then each running back might get a few snaps because you're not gonna have the same running back on the field for 16 straight plays, but they don't do that. So, it wouldn't make sense to be like, all right, I know Jashawn, you haven't touched the ball in 12 minutes, but it's DJ Williams' turn to play. That doesn't really make sense. You want your best players out there. So if they start putting long drives together, I think we'll start seeing more of DJ Williams.
There you go. I don't know, Jared, why don't you tell us? Do you see Randy Shannon being a bigger part of our staff? If so, when and what role? My dad's from Miami and personal friends with Randy. Well, ask Dad.
Have your dad text Randy Shannon and see what's up.
Yeah.
Ask him why the defense looked so much better in the second half on Saturday.
Yeah. Christian Williams, when can we start? Can we start using Corey Wren on the offense more?
Well, he wasn't available Saturday. Right. I don't think he was on the field. Corey Wren wasn't. But look, man, they don't have a ton of great speedsters. He's the guy, but for whatever reason, they haven't figured out a role for him yet. And, I'm not giving up on the kid. It's just his second year in the system, but he's also been here 2 years and doesn't seem to have much of a role on an offense that's not very good. So then you wonder, okay, maybe he's just not what they're looking for. But he's really fast, man. Really fast.
Here's a nice little exchange on YouTube. Eric Johnson says, could not Ray pay off Norvell's contract? Ray comes back with Eric. My checks are still being made out to Willie. So we got that going for us.
That's right, man.
I don't get Kayvon, man, this is like 4 weeks in a row. He keeps asking about wanting Ira to go bald. I don't know why we're so concerned with that.
Somebody asked that. I wonder if it's him that asked that on headlines too. Ira's not doing it.
He doesn't need to. He's fine. Everybody back up off of him. He's fine. His hair's fine.
And also, I think he would look awful with a bald head. Like his head isn't shaped like this glorious piece of machinery right here. I think he's going to look like, if you ever saw a picture, Google a picture of Scottie Pippen bald. It looked like, I mean, it was just some heads are not made to be seen. And I think Ira's is one of those where it needs to be covered up as much as possible because I think it's going to be a little lumpy, a little rigidy. It's not going to be this sheen. This looks like a cue ball, man. This is a perfect oval. Ira doesn't have that. So he would not look good bald, and he does not want to do it. So,
not that bad. Scottie Pippen's like that.
I think that doesn't look that bad. It's from the top down. What's the thing with him and Giannis? Like if you see it from the top, it's not great.
Who's tall enough to see the top of Scottie Pippen's head?
Good point. Hey, I saw it when he sat down when they ran that last play for Kukoc. You can see it then.
Alex Scarborough's here, y'all. Let's give him some noise. Dion told us to stop using that. Coach Prime said, but sorry. Do y'all think if Jordan Travis was healthy and starts, we beat Louisville? Here we go. This stuff.
No, I think if he plays against Jacksonville State, they win. That's the only one that I think for sure that was a mistake. That was a misstep. If he was healthy, which he seemed to be, I'm not convinced he would have put up more points than that. But only because he just hasn't used his legs the way, and maybe that's because he's not healthy. I don't know, but he hasn't used his legs at all like that he used them last year. They don't even look like the same legs. So I don't know if he's that guy anymore for whatever reason, or he doesn't want to take hits, which I understand because he doesn't wear them well. But the reason he's unique is because of his running ability, and it's not really been there this year. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
Ray says with Jordan being injury prone and no Milton next year, Chuba needs to be ready for next year.
Yeah, look, you've got to find out what you got in that guy. I would not do it now. Look, this is a coach that desperately needs a win, especially after the impassioned answer to that question on Monday. If they come out and lay an egg 5 days later, that's just another awful look. Like you had fans like wanting to run through a wall. Like they were really fired up about that. And if then they come out 5 days later and lose to another mediocre ACC team and don't look and just kind of get run over, that's an awful loss. They need to win this game. But after that, 2 wins is better than 0 wins. But after that, I would find a way to get Chuba some meaningful reps. Because you're right, you got to know what you have. This season's a loss. You've got to know what you have next year. And maybe Chuba gets you a couple of really, really nice performances, and all of a sudden you feel pretty good about going into next year. And he's going to be challenged by A.J. Duffy. He's going to be challenged by Rodemaker. If Jordan Travis can stay healthy, which is not happening, that he might still be on the roster too, and it might be a real competition. But yeah, you need to find out what you got in Chuba. You need to find out why you told Jeff Sims to go somewhere else. In not here, not to Florida State. And this is the main reason. You need to see if you got something in them. But not at the sake of actually picking up a win.
Guys, this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
Ed Lemmix checks in from beautiful Pensacola, headquarters of DeLuna Coffee International, to wish us all a happy National Coffee Day. What better time to get on the DeLuna bandwagon than today, everybody? Go ahead, order some DeLuna coffee, delunacoffee.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT. Thanks for being here, Ed. Appreciate you, man.
You're the man, Ed. You know that. Tell the family we said hey.
Indeed. Man, there's something up here. I'm leaving Ed up here for a little bit because he deserves it. Gosh darn it. Somebody was asking, oh, shoot. There you go, Ed. Ed threw $50 at us, too. What are you doing, Ed? Let's go. I think we beat Cuse this week. I'll keep predicting a win until we do so. Where can I get an FSU ice hockey shirt? I don't know. Where, Mr. Giddings, man. Thomas T. Giddy, let Ed know. Thomas used to actually help out with equipment or something, and I guess either has these made or has some leftover stock, so maybe we can get you guys together. But Ed, thank you again. And everybody, indeed, do order some coffee. Somebody was asking.
You're the man, Ed. You know that, though.
Alan Williams is actually back. Do y'all think that Norvell is maximizing what he has? I mean, right? If you're 0-4, you really can't say. And with the loss of Jacksonville State, you can't say that you are maximizing your person.
Absolutely not. And I always want to make that point when I talk about incremental improvement, that I do think this team is better than last year. It does not mean that I think he's done a good job with what he's done. Like you can make excuses. The offensive line isn't great. He doesn't have a good quarterback. The receivers aren't very yada yada. That doesn't mean he's maximized anything. Again, I said it yesterday. Anybody watching this show right now, literally anyone, would be 1-3 as the coach at Florida State if we had just taken over for the Saturday, not building a culture, not building the team morale. Just if Norvell had let us coach on that Saturday of the Jacksonville State game, Florida State would be 1-3 because we would have made sure Toafili wasn't in the game when you had 3rd and goal at the 2 to put the game away. We'd have had our best players in the game there. And then also we don't throw the fade to flip in Malik McClain. And we tell our DC to back everybody up when there's 6 seconds left and they got to go 60 yards. That's what we do. So we're all 1-3. So there's no way anybody can say he's maximizing his personnel. He has not done a bang-up job, especially on Saturdays. He just has made some perplexing decisions, things that make you wonder about moving forward if he's the right guy. I have seen progress in the overall. I don't know. You've seen progress. You guys know this team is better than last year's team, but it's not by enough of a margin that we think that he's definitely the right guy. He is not maximizing this personnel. There's no way anybody could say that. You just hope he gets better. You just hope he gets better. And then, 2 years from now, maybe he will be maximizing the personnel. And more importantly, 2 years from now, the personnel needs to be better. Am I right, Aslan?
Indeed.
You can't do too much with this personnel, but you certainly don't need to be 1-3. That Jacksonville State game was just a killer. It was just a killer. Anyway,
it's funny. It does not nearly. I'm not as bothered by it as I think most people are. Not to say that it's excusable to me, but like for some reason, like nothing surprised. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just numb to it. It hasn't really. The gravity of it hasn't sunk in just because the way it ended was so bizarre. The way it ended was like, this game's over now. And we lost. We were just winning. How does that happen? But no, I mean, it's a mark of shame. Matt Wolf asks, how many wins we looking at this year? 3 at the high, 2, 3 at the most. I think right now, 3 at the most. Which I also want to go pivot. Thank you for the question, Matt. Nicholas Snyder, real talk. If the guys figure out an identity, can they play with Clemson, Miami, and Florida? Probably 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
Without an identity, they could probably play with Clemson.
Well, they're not going to score against Clemson. That's a ferocious and very talented defense. I wouldn't see them putting up more than 14 points at most, at the absolute most. Miami, they definitely can play with. Miami doesn't run the ball at all. And then Florida and Ja'Eric King, you don't know his health. Florida might be the toughest of the bunch, man. They're better on defense than I thought they were going to be, that they're supposed to be. And then their offense isn't as good as last year, but it's still plenty good. That guy can really coach offense. And so I don't know if it's an identity as much as if Florida State could play well in all 3 of those games, like the best they played in 3 years, they're still only winning 1 at most. You know what I mean? They don't. I don't think they can maybe hang with those teams for a while, but I don't think they have the Miami. Skip Miami. They can beat Miami. Yeah. I'm not predicting they are going to, because they'd actually have to play well, but they can beat Miami. Clemson and Florida, even if they play well, I just don't see how they can win those games.
Karen Herzog says The Rock looks great bald. So, I mean, if the Rock does, and Ira...
Well, look, The Rock has some things going for him that Ira doesn't.
Just got to give him a sleeve. Maybe if Ira just gets a sleeve.
That's the only thing he's missing. Other than that, they look like twins.
Dave's back from Kentucky. I think all that accumulation gets you a little bit of that. Any Warchant get-togethers for the Cuse game. I'll be happy to buy you a bourbon, win or lose. Also, please provide details. Doorstop paperweight status for those unable to attain pillar status. Maybe like maybe I'll put like a small rock on top of the pillar that could be a paperweight, and then people can sketch their name on it. But
There you
no,
go. And then you can crack it. You can smash it after a win.
There we go. Friday, though, there'll be people come hang out with you and Jeff Cameron in Corner Pocket, right, Corey?
That's right. The happy hour, the Friday, the not suitable for work happy hour. It even says so in the description. So if you want to email me about my language, I'm just saying it says it right there in the description. And also, it's not me doing it. It's the other guy. But yes, Jeff and I, from 5 to 6 at Corner Pocket, we're broadcasting live from there. We talk mainly about Florida State football, but there's other stuff. And yeah, if you want to, not a bourbon, Daddy doesn't drink bourbon, but if you want to give me a Mick Ultra, I'm all about that life. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything scheduled for the Warchant crew, other than we will be at Corner Pocket from 5 to 6, and probably a little afterwards.
Is this true, Corey? Random fact: Syracuse used to be the Orangemen. I know that. William the Orange put together a group of executioners to hunt down and kill Catholics, hence the name change? No.
But
no.
Wouldn't that have been like I thought they changed it from the Orangemen just like 8 or 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, to make it like gender neutral or whatever. Yeah, that can't be right.
Is that what it was? So I thought it would have been, I mean, that would have been insulting and I don't know that even in the 1920s when people didn't care about anything like that, they'd have been like, I don't know, that's a little insensitive, isn't it? I don't know if we want to name our university after, but hey, I don't doubt Get Down or Lay Down. What a crazy way to have to come up with a nickname.
I try to look it up on Syracuse.com, but I got an ad blocker and they block ad blockers. So, all right. I don't know, Tom. God bless you, man. We have our show with Devontae Love Taylor. When is Warchant going to start advertising for the next year's show with the Noles News stud bipedal transfer court? It's twice. I told him that I thought that was like the typo. I don't know.
Take out bipedal.
Okay.
Maybe maybe this was all done he was talking on his phone because he was driving or something.
Twice though?
And then yeah, so take out bipedal. Yeah. If Florida State gets a stud transfer QB, one of those Ohio State guys, we'll definitely be in the market to do a little pocket talk. Instead of trench talk, it'll be pocket talk with the new 5-star quarterback at Florida State.
All right, guys. Yeah, and then what other markets would you advertise the show in? Athens, Tuscaloosa, Eugene? No, man, we're always going to Florida State first, man. Florida first. It's our camp. Florida State first. It's our
yeah. That's what we do.
Eric's
all we care about.
He's going to put some DeLuna order in tomorrow. Awesome way to be. We appreciate that. Shout out. Landing this plane. Miami guy, New God King is here. Just wants to ask how everyone is tonight. We're doing good. Say something smart, and you'll be gone. Like
He's feeling good about that Central Connecticut win.
Yeah, CGJ0198. Thanks for the $5. We appreciate it. Thank you, man. Everybody hit that thumbs up if you don't feel like throwing $5 at us. That's cool. Thoughts on the 4th down direct snap trick play? I loved it. For real. Being sincere. That's the time. That's the place to do it. Jordan Wilson was not supposed. I mean, that the whole thing is everybody looks like we don't know what's going on except for the center and the running back. And you hope that either the running back's got enough speed to go around the corner, around the end, or the offensive lineman on that side of the ball, on the field side of the play,
which is where it's going,
can make a block, and they didn't. So I'm not a Jordan Wilson, apologist. Like, he doesn't need to get heat for that. I mean,
and here's the thing: like they're not real. I don't mind it like Aslan said, the setting wasn't bad. You had just gotten the reversal on the parchment catch. It's 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Maybe I don't buy it as much when you've had that big of a time off. You know what I mean? Like it had been 3 minutes since they ran the last play. So are they really confused about what play they're running when they've been looking at a video board for 3 minutes to know if they're going to punt or if it's going to be 4th down? So I think in the flow of a series, like if they had ruled that parchment catch a catch, if it had been more obvious and they just run up to the line and then do that, I think it probably works better because I think the defense might have really been like, oh, they're getting the play. But that credit to the Louisville guy for just shooting that and making a great play in the backfield and trusting what he was seeing. I don't mind it only because it ain't like you're doing a bang up job on regular 4th and short plays or 3rd and short plays. I certainly don't mind going for it. I don't think he needs to go for it as much as he's been going for it, but that is something they had been practicing. I'm sure they thought it was going to work a lot better than that. and it just didn't. But, when things go bad, they just go bad.
I hope this doesn't get us copyright hit, but this is the play, man. I love this, and I love this, man. I love this. This is a really good. All right, we know what's going on. All right, calling timeout. Everybody lets up. No, they don't let up, and then you get a couple yards. That's how it's supposed to work out. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I guess some of these guys made a little bit more, were a little more active in blocking than some of the other guys.
Yeah, that was and again, I'll go back to Jordan Wilson. Like, I know he's supposed to be selling something, but when you do see that the guy that's in front of you is looking directly at the ball, he's not looking to your sideline, he's not relaxed. That guy was not just standing with his hands on his hips. He was ready to go. I don't even think he realized that Milton was looking over he was just waiting for the ball to be snapped. He didn't realize that Milton had looked over to the sideline, so it didn't fool him at all. And if you can notice that, just in the flow of the moment as a football player, be like, okay, I got to get a hand on this guy. I got to slow him down because he's about, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't blame him. It's just, the guy made a good play against a call that didn't work out.
All right, man, that's a wrap on us. We could be here all night doing this. We do appreciate everybody being involved with the show. Shout out to Dave in Bardstown. We appreciate your support. Shout out to our good guy, Rob Rathbun, just the silent assassin. Thank you to Mark, Pillar Status, Ray, Pillar Status, Eric, Pillar Status. His name's somewhere on here. Ed, the Godfather, for being here. CGJ, Alex, Sky Ninja. I think, golly, who else do we got? Get Down or Lay Down, obviously. William McMillan. Thomas Giddings for the shirts. For the shirt, too. Thank you, buddy. And the doll hairs. That's everybody. And we thank you all for watching and asking your questions. If you get that thumbs up on the way out, we certainly would appreciate it.
Next week, we're going to be talking about a win. We're talking about a win. Enough of this. We're going to talk about the fourth down play that won them the game when they converted it, instead of ones that always end up helping them lose games. Things are going to be they're going to happen, man. They're going to happen. They're going to turn around.
For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for watching and listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.